So, we now have our 26 songs for the final and the running order. I'm going to start with the big contenders and then move to the top 10 contenders. Give a few thoughts on the other countries and then go through the best bets, my top final 5 prediction. We'll start with Croatia. Now, they're very short to win the contest now. There could be some trading room for this on Saturday, as it seems sure to trade higher during or at least after the jury results have come out. There's also a lot of competition for the televote this year, unlike last year when Carrier dominated. However, there also isn't likely to be a jury vote juggernaut like Loreen last year either. The potential Israel televote landslide looks a possibility after the Italian leak. And if Croatia finish second in the televote behind Israel, they can't win. The running order massively benefits Croatia, and without a big Israel televote, Croatia would be winners. The semi-final performance, miles better than I expected. Great vocals, loads of energy. I don't like that they hardly ever looked at the camera and there's too many long shots, but it seems a theme this year with every act having too many long shots. It must be due to the stage where the cameras are situated. I'm not a fan of this year's stage at all, personally. Ukraine, the underdog that won't go away. Ukraine's chances of winning has gone now after being drawn second in the running order. I mentioned in a previous video that the EBU would not want Ukraine winning, and this running order confirms that. The jury score will likely be friendly to them than the year they won, although a lot of juries won't like the rap segment at all. Ukraine are assured a good televote, as we've seen from last year, with this song much more likely to do well with the Eastern televote anyway. I thought Ukraine would be nailed on for a top 5 finish, but it is harder to do that from second in the running order. They'll need the automatic votes to be high. They've been drifting, but the floor is still 6th, so it might be close, but I think they're still going to finish in the top 5. Probably 5th or 4th is as high as they can go, really, though. Switzerland, I thought it looked great in the semi-final, and it could top 300 jury points, but it seems sure to get 250 at least. The public vote is and always has been the issue. Doesn't seem to be getting the streaming numbers you'd want a winner to get, and if the Israel leak is correct, it didn't do that well in the Italian televote either, getting 6 points. That's a massive worry if those numbers are true, and at the time of me recording this, I believe they are. I can't see a scenario where Switzerland win if they're scoring 6 points from a neighbouring country in the semi-final, let alone the final. So how low would that send Switzerland? Well, they'd likely finish behind Italy, maybe even France. Might even fail to make the top 5. I hope it's a false blip and Switzerland get the points they deserve, but I'm here to just look at the data. Also, being drawn so close to Croatia in the final is not ideal for Switzerland. Israel. Well, I wasn't expecting to be talking about Israel as potential winners. I outlined in my preview video of Israel's path to glory, and to be honest, I thought best case scenario would have them in the top 5, maybe top 3. In case you are unaware, RAI, the Italian broadcaster who broadcast the semi-final in Italy, after all the qualifiers were announced, showed on screen the percentage of votes each country got. I would mention that this is normal for RAI to do this for other shows where the public vote, but they normally would not do this for Eurovision, and the numbers are normally revealed on Sunday. Anyway, Israel had 39% of the vote in Italy. This would give them a landslide televote, similar to Ukraine if this happened in all the countries. Netherlands finished second with 7.3%, so you can see the percentage difference there is huge. RAI are going to release a statement in the morning, apparently. I haven't seen that. If those numbers are real, then it seems likely Israel will win. Israel will get a moderate but not great jury result, I expect, and will have a similar result to 2 years ago. Israel's streaming numbers aren't that impressive, so I would assume that this is a politically motivated voting result like 2 years ago. The EBU could have a headache for the next few months one way or another. They've tried to bury Israel with a statistically terrible slot of 6, but I really don't think it matters. If it's a politically motivated vote, it doesn't matter where you perform in the running order. On to Italy. Drawn 15th looks like their punishment for the leak last night, although it's not Italy's fault Israel won by a landslide. If anything, at least it's got that information out there ahead of time. There's been an overreaction to the staging of this song in my opinion. It doesn't feel like a winner now, but it's still going to do very well with juries and also have a decent televote. That would still leave Italy firmly in the top 5 conversation. I think the performance, vocally as always, Angelina was superb. The staging problem is everything seems to be blend into each other. The performers don't stand out from the background at times, it just looks a bit messy, very strange staging. I still think there's enough quality in the song though to finish in the top 5. Ireland, the big shock of the competition so far. Looking at the data, we can say Ireland was top 3 in the semi-final, with any of the top 3 positions a possibility. Ireland will score pretty badly with the juries, you'd think, as there isn't really a song there for them to score. The televote though, it looks like there's definitely an audience for this. The theatrical staging has been hailed by many as brilliant, and it was. And the stage designer, they've just got themselves a lucrative job for years to come. How high can Ireland finish in the televote? It's going to get plenty of points. Not sure if it gets that many 12s though, but we'll easily give Ireland a top 10 and one of their best finishes in a long time. Jedward finished 8th in 2011, and I think Bambi betters that. Maybe 7th, maybe 6th? I think 7th is probably where Ireland finished. On to France, and Slimani was superb on Thursday night's semi-final. Could France even win the jury vote? It seems so close to call between the big 3 of France, Italy and Switzerland. I've always been quite bullish about France's chances, even in the televote, and I still stick by that. Seems an absolute certain top 10, and could now get the average televote that they'd need to finish top 5 being drawn 25th, sandwiched between 2 vastly inferior songs. France could outscore Switzerland now, and that's a head-to-head I'd like to see. France are definitely on that borderline 5th spot. They're going to be 5th or 6th, I think, France. Netherlands, the pre-rehearsal televote monster has kind of petered out as we move towards the final. I'm not sure where this finishes now, as it could be 6th in the televote and a borderline top 10 entry really. The running order seems like a punishment for the criticism of the EBU by Juiced, as 5th is just a forgotten spot. It's still a fun song and the crowd in the arena will help singing along, but it doesn't look great to a TV audience. Too many long shots. I could say that about almost every entry, to be honest. But this performance loses its impact when we're not seeing the graphics along with the dancing and the stage. There's a comedy graphic that looks like a Windows error, and we can't even read that because of the camera angle at the time. The jury was always going to give this a very poor score, so a diluted televote could see Netherlands as a forgotten song on Saturday, and a top 10 lay for me potentially. On to Sweden. Now, we've known Sweden are going to be performing first all along. It's a tough spot for the televote, but maybe with a new system of being able to call immediately after the song to vote, it might help it out. Should get a good jury score, sure to finish between 4th and 6th place for the juries. I was impressed when I saw this on Tuesday. Looked a lot of fun, delivered flawlessly by the twins. One of the best bets for the final to make the top 10 at around 2.2. Rumour has it Paddy Power will be boosting this on Saturday too, so just keep an eye out on that. Greece. Now, I've never been a big fan of Greece and was really underwhelmed by the performance on Thursday night. The vocals weren't the best, and there are noticeable a number of points during the song where the backing singers are doing all the work. The colour vomit staging doesn't do anything really, and the choreography is something we've seen before. I thought we'd have some traditional instruments or lean more into traditional dancing to push home the Greek folk sound, but no, we don't. Drawn 12th is pretty much the best first half slot they could want. It looks to be firing up the Greek diaspora though, as expected, but I mean, who else votes for this? Likely sneaks into the top 10, but I'm far from confident. It's real borderline top, like around 10th spot for me. Finland, this Saturday night song looked great in the Tuesday semi-final. Sure to get some Saturday night drunk votes. I think it has a chance of slipping into the top 10. At odds of around 4.5, it looks the best long shot value to make it. It's not going to get really any jury points, so it does need a sizable televote. But I could see it happening, as 17th isn't too bad a slot with plenty of forgettable songs to follow. With all the big televote songs mentioned, there won't be many televotes left to go around for much more. Armenia is a bit of an unknown, but I don't think it stands out and actually doesn't feel as exciting on stage as I thought it'd be. 19th is a good slot for it, but it's just before the good songs, and it will need to be staged around a break with that huge platform to wheel on and off. So a top 10 could be a sneaky song that performs well with the juries, as there should be more points left over for the jury favoured songs. Portugal, Serbia and Germany should all be taken seriously for a top 15 slot. Portugal would stand out with the juries along with Serbia. Those two I'd be interested in for top 15 bets. They've both got okay slots in the running order, but they would be getting a weak televote from anywhere, I'd think. When Latvia performed on Thursday night, I actually thought this is a decent song, and it sounded much better. Don's caught all the cameras in the performance and actually performed it really well. 11th though, in between the two first half bangers, has killed off any televote points they'll get. Austria and Estonia will both perform well, but neither will likely get many jury points, and there just won't be enough televote points available for them to finish much higher than 15th. Estonia being 9th is a bad slot for them too. Austria closed the final, but following France is not great. Probably 13th or 15th for Austria. Georgia and Nutz's performance was excellent, but the song is really predictable on average. I mean, even her great performance won't be able to lift this really into much higher than the top 15. 15th, around that sort of spot. Norway could sneak into the top 15, but that's its ceiling, I think. More likely to be a bit forgotten and finish around 17th though. Great live performance by Norway, and I enjoyed it. I just don't think it's a vote winner. From Tuesday, we have Cyprus, who again would rely on televote points, and 20th right before Switzerland and Croatia really hurts them. Slovenia likely scraped through to the semi-final, and although the song is more jury friendly, there's too many better jury songs. Not a contender for last place, but not much higher. There's been a sacrifice too, being put between Switzerland and Croatia. Lithuania I had high hopes for, but the song wasn't memorable enough in the semi-final, so I fear for it on Saturday. It will just be in the middle somewhere. Diaspora will give it some points, but not enough for top 10, I fear. 7th seems a terrible slot for them. Luxembourg look destined to either finish last or near on last. I don't see juries going for it, and I won't be making a televote impact. We've had the Luxembourg story for them getting to the final. That was their victory this year. 4th in the running order is death slot really. And finally we have the UK and Spain. Spain actually looked pretty good on Thursday night. And there's enough fun there to get some points, I think. Not a lot, but they'll just get enough points, I think, not to finish last. 8th is not a great draw for them though. As for the UK, draw on 13th isn't too bad, but they are dangerously close to finish last again. Ollie's vocals were not good on Tuesday, so he'll need to be better in the Friday night jury show. The public vote, I have no idea if the UK will score anything. I think there's again just enough to avoid a bottom place. I mean, these two countries will both be in the bottom 5 though. So my prediction is Israel is your winner, 2nd will be Croatia, 3rd Italy, 4th Ukraine, 5th Switzerland, and 6th France. My best bets for the final: Finland finished top 10 at 4.5. I think that's really good value. If Austria get to 3.0 or lower for the top 10, then I'd be laying Austria, but not at the current price. Sweden top 10 at 2.2, and I'd lay Netherlands to finish in the top 10 at 1.4. I think that's a good value. And Portugal and Serbia top 15, both should be around 2.5 or thereabouts, and I feel one of them will be certainly getting the top 15, so maybe even both. Well, I hope you enjoy the final, and thanks for watching.